Okay, so we start the movie and we reveal to the location, Haddonfield, Illinois, and there's the date, October 31st, 1978. And there we go, there's Laurie Strode sitting there sobbing, and then Michael Myers sits up. He gets up, sneaks up behind her and starts strangling her. And then Dr. Loomis comes running in, he shoots Michael and shoots him off the balcony. And then Loomis heads outside the front of the house, and then when he gets there, Michael has gone. So he's looking around, can't find Michael. A guy comes out of his house, says, "What's going on out here?" And Loomis is like, "Call the police, tell the sheriff I shot him and that he's still on the loose." And the dude's like, "Is this some kind of joke? I've been trick-or-treating to death tonight." And Loomis is like,
"You don't know what death is."
And then the title comes up. So then the movie begins and it picks up exactly where the first movie left off. Michael's just wandering the streets. He's walking down an alleyway and then you can see Loomis. A cop car pulls up beside Loomis and he's like, "I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart. This man's not human." So then they drive off and Michael walks into a house which has a couple of old people living inside. He goes in and he takes a knife. Old lady turns around, sees some blood on the chopping board and screams. And then as Michael's leaving, some random girl comes out of her house and is calling out to the old people. And then she goes back inside and Michael's like, "Oh, I'm going to go kill this bitch." So he sneaks into her house, makes a bit of noise, she goes and investigates and he jumps out and stabs her. Meanwhile, an ambulance arrives at the Doyle house to come pick up Laurie to treat her for her wounds because she's a big old pussy. So she arrives at the hospital and Dr. Mixture decides to dope her up to put her under for a while so he can operate on her. We cut back to Loomis and he and Sheriff Brackett are roaming the streets looking for Michael. And Brackett's all like, "You couldn't have shot him 6 times. And he's like, "I told you I did." But then Loomis looks down the street and he sees Michael and Michael's heading towards some kids. So Loomis gets out of the car and he's pointing his gun at Michael and he's like, "Stop! Stop!" And Sheriff Brackett's trying to stop him. And then Michael's crossing the street and then bang, he gets hit by a car and hits a van and boom! And Michael's burning alive. Or is it Michael? And then the deputy shows up and he's like, "Oh wait, Sheriff Brackett, your daughter's dead." And he's like, "What the fuck?" And then they all go off. Back at the hospital, all the staff are watching the news report about Michael Myers and all the people he's killed. That is apart from Jimmy, who sneaks into Laurie's room and starts touching her up. "You dirty creeper!" And then she wakes up like, "No, Daddy, don't touch me there." And then just when Jimmy thinks he's about to score, Bud comes in and he's like, "Oh wait, fucker, we gotta go pick up some more people." Meanwhile, Loomis, Brackett and Deputy Hunt arrive at the Wallace house. The paramedics are removing a body from the house. And Brackett lifts up the sheet to see Annie's dead body. And then he breaks down. And then Brackett leaves. And that's it. We don't see him for the rest of the movie. So now Loomis has got to hang around with Deputy Hunt. And Loomis is pretty certain that it wasn't Michael Myers who was burning to death like 5 minutes ago. Deputy Hunt is all like, "Yeah, it was him. I saw him." And Loomis is all like, "I want to believe you, but I have to be certain it's dead." And then Hunt's all like, "You're talking about him like he isn't a man." And Loomis is like, "Fuck yeah, he isn't a man. He's pure evil." So Dr. Loomis asks where they've taken the body. And Hunt tells him the coroner's office. So Loomis is like, "Get a dentist to meet me there in half hour." So back out on the streets, there's just this random kid with a boombox listening to it, and there's a news report about what's been going on. And the news report happens to include a little bit about Laurie being taken to the hospital. Good timing too, because that kid just bumps into Michael. Michael's like, "Thanks for the info, kid, I won't kill you for that." And then he makes his way to Haddonfield Memorial Hospital. So Michael makes it to the hospital and he's stalking around outside and the security guard's doing a really shitty job. So Michael's like, "Cheers, fat fuck, I'ma get inside now." Meanwhile, Jimmy goes and sits with Laurie. And he tells her that it was Michael Myers that was after her. And she's like, "What, from the Myers house? That little kid that killed his sister? What?" And then she's all like, "Why me?" "I'll tell you why, it's because you're his sister." "Oh, wait, well, we're not meant to know that yet?" I've spoiled it. Shit! And then to top things off, the fucking phone lines aren't working, so one of the nurses has got to go get Pillsbury Doughboy to go check it out. And come to think of it, the dude's a security guard, not a fucking maintenance man. What's he gonna do? I don't know, fucking movie logic. So Tits McGee's down there and he's looking around and he's looking around and he's looking around and he has a look in the storage locker and when he closes it, oh look, there's Michael smacking the head with a hammer. So we cut to the coroner's office and there's Loomis and Hunt and there's the burnt, charred body of not Michael Myers. So the coroner dude's checking the teeth, and he's like, "Yeah, this kid's probably about 17, 18. And Loomis is like, "Michael Myers is 21. Look, movie, stop fucking us about. We know that ain't Michael Myers." And then we cut to the Myers house, and there's an angry mob outside attacking the poor defenseless building. Loomis and Hunt arrive there, and then Loomis is telling the deputy a very similar story to what he told Brackett in the original movie. And then a couple of kids approach the deputy, and they're like, "Yeah, we're really worried about Ben Tramer. He left the party at 10. And he had that stupid mask on. So we now know who is the crispy critter." And then another cop comes along and he's like, "We just had a report of a break-in at the elementary school. We're pretty sure it's him." So off they go. And then we cut back to Laurie and she's sleeping. And she's having a dream of when she was a child and her foster mother said, "Look, fuck off, alright? I'm not your real mother. Go eat shit." And then she dreams about visiting someone at a mental institution when she was a child. Ooh, I wonder who it is. Spoiler alert, it's fucking Michael. So now we go to Bud and he's in a hot tub with another nurse. Her name's Karen. And they are getting it on. So much so that Michael's like, "Oh yeah, awesome. Time for a quick wank." No, I'm just kidding. I'm guessing Michael's not really going to have a wank. Maybe he is. I don't know. But instead, he's like, all right, I'm going to have a bit of fun. So he turns up the temperature of the hot tub. And then she starts complaining about it. She's like, oh, it's getting too hot in here. Bud, go check it out. And he's like, fuck that. It's cold out there. And she's like, it can get cold in here, fucker. Go check it out. So Bud goes and checks it out. So as Bud's checking it out, she's suddenly getting out of the hot tub. What a fucking cock tease. Doesn't matter anyway, because Michael sneaks up behind Bud and then strangles him. And then after he's killed Bud, he walks in there and just stands behind her and touching her, and she thinks it's Bud. And then when she turns around, oh no, it's Michael, and he sticks her head in there. So he drowns her in scalding hot water and her face blistered. What a fucking awesome way to go. So back with Loomis and Hunt, we're at the elementary school, and there are some signs of a break-in. There's a broken window, and inside the class, there's a drawing on the table with a knife stabbed into it where the big sister would be. And then they find, scrawled in blood on the chalkboard, the word Sam Hain, which Loomis tells them means the Lord of the Dead. And then somebody walks into the classroom and look who it is. It's Marion. You know, the woman who was driving Loomis to Smith's Grove in the original movie. And she's there to tell him that he's been ordered back to Smith's Grove. And Loomis is like, I'm not going anywhere. And she's like, yeah you are, because there's a marshal outside waiting for you. So Jimmy's just gone back into Laurie's room to check up on her, see how she's doing, but she's not moving or saying anything. So he gets worried, calls in Nurse Jill, and she checks up on Laurie. And then Nurse Janet's running down to Dr. Mixture's office. She goes in and tells him that Laurie's had a reaction to the medication she's been given. And then she turns him around and he's got a syringe in his eye. And then as she's backing off, Michael grabs her, pulls out a syringe, sticks it in her head and presses down on it, killing her. So with nobody coming for help, Jimmy then runs off to go find someone. And then Nurse Jill does exactly the same thing. And then when she's gone, Michael goes into the room. And he approaches the bed with scalpel in hand and then stabs the bed. And he pulls the sheet back. He's been treated by some fucking pillars. And then Michael checks the security monitors on the desk and he can see Laurie walking down a hallway. So Loomis is accompanied to the marshal's car and Hunt's all like, yeah, don't worry, we're going to find him. And Loomis is like, no, you're not. Don't lie to me. So Jimmy meets back up with Jill and he's like, look, there's some creepy shit going down. I can't find anyone. So he tells Jill to check the east wing again. If she can't find anybody, to get in her car and go to the sheriff's station. But what a surprise, Michael's in that room and he overhears everything. Meanwhile, Jimmy comes across the body of another nurse, Nurse Alves, and all her blood's been drained onto the floor, and then when Jimmy turns around to leave, he slips and smacks his head on the floor. So Jill checks the east wing, can't find anything. She goes down in the car park to get in her car, but then she realises the tyres are flat, and then all the tyres are flat on all the cars. Back inside the hospital, Laurie's just wandering around. And then Jill finds her, and she's like, Laurie, wait. And then behind Jill is Michael, and he stabs her in the back with a scalpel and lifts her up with one hand. Holy shit! And then he sees Laurie, and he drops Jill, and he gives chase after her. So she's running away, and she pushes the bed in Michael's way, but I ain't gonna stop Michael Myers, because he's fucking Michael Myers. So she runs down the stairs, he's giving chase, she ends up in the boiler room and she looks up and she can see the Pillsbury fucking doughboy. And she grabs her panties and here comes Michael. So she escapes through this window, ends up in another room, there's an elevator, she calls for the elevator but Michael is coming. So she keeps pressing the button, and he's getting closer and the door's open, she goes inside and Michael's coming and he's getting closer and he's getting closer and he's getting closer and then the door shuts. Oh man, she just got away, lucky bitch. So then Laurie quickly runs out into the car park and hides in the car. And then back with Loomis and Marion. Marion tells Loomis something he never knew, and that was Laurie is Michael's sister. Wow, what a surprise. And then Loomis is like, Jesus, he killed one sister 15 years ago, now he's trying to kill the other. So he pulls a gun on the marshal and he's like, turn around and go back to Haddonfield. Back with Laurie, the car door opens and Jimmy gets inside and, oh yeah, everything's alright. He's like, yeah, I'm tough as fuck, and then he collapses. Head lands on steering wheel horn blares, she pushes him off. Then Loomis, Marion and the marshal turn up and they're going to go inside the hospital, so she gets out of the car, starts crawling towards them and she's like, oh, help me, please. But they don't hear her and they go inside. And then just as she gets up, there's Michael! So as she runs to the front door, screaming for help, he's chasing after her, they eventually hear her, let her in, close the door, and then Michael just bursts through the door. And then Loomis shoots Michael and he falls to the floor. So Loomis orders Marion to go to the squad car to call him for backup. And the marshal dude's looking at Michael like, ooh, I wonder if he's got any candy. And then Loomis is like, get away from him! The marshal dude's like, you stop breathing, but no, he hasn't. And Michael slices his throat open. So Michael's chasing after them, they go hide in an operating room, they lock the door, and Loomis is trying to give Laurie a gun. But then Michael finds him and he smashes the door open. Loomis jumps out with a gun, pulls the trigger, nothing happens, Michael looks at him, stabs him with the scalpel, and Loomis collapses. So Michael's going towards her, she pulls the gun up, fires 2 shots at him, and she's blinded him. So then he just starts violently swinging the scalpel around, hoping to hit someone. So there's all these gas tanks in the room, and they're opening them up, and then Loomis is all like, get out now! So Laurie runs out, Loomis pulls out a lighter, and he's like,
it's time, Michael.
Ignites it, and then BOOM! The worst cabbage fart imaginable. So it's all over, everything seems alright, and then holy shit, he comes out of the fire, and he's walking right towards her, and then he collapses. So it's finally all over, and then it's the next morning, and we see Laurie being put into the back of an ambulance and it drives off. She survived, and Michael burns alive. And that was pretty much Halloween too.
Damn you.
Sorry.
What have you done?
I haven't done anything.
You let him out!
I didn't let him out. I gave orders for him to be restrained.